This is the state of my room, and I'm gonna need you not to judge me because I'm gonna need you to listen to this message. And I honestly decided, let me just keep everything as it is because that's what my message is about today. Just show up. Just do it. Okay. I think a lot of the times in our lives, we think that we need to have everything right, everything needs to be together. We need a January 1st in order to get something started, whether that's working out, trying something new within our business, a new job opportunity, whatever it may be, like making any changes, diet changes, this, that, or the other, like working on certain relationships and stuff. You don't need a January 1st. You don't need the first of a month. You don't need a Monday. You can do things whenever you want. It's going to give you also such freedom to know this. So, first and foremost, I'm a housekeeper in Toronto. This has helped me get out of $30,000 of debt in a year. In the first year I started, yes, in just under a year, I paid off $30,000 of debt. Crazy. Okay. And then in a year and a half to 2 years, I amassed nearly double that in savings. You heard me right. And then this year, oh my goodness, my love, I've always struggled with making friends and stuff like that. Last year, I made a friend at the end of the year. We've become so close. She's genuinely like a sister now. And I just truly have so much love and respect for her. I got engaged. Never thought that would be possible for someone like me. I've watched divorces happen in my family, abuse, physical, all the different, you know what I mean? So I just never thought any of this would be possible for me. I went on 3 trips. One of them was a solo trip, my first ever solo. My love, when I tell you I was in $30,000 of debt and it was only getting worse each day, I was living below paycheck to paycheck and I was beyond stupid with my money and trying to buy love. And now I feel so loved, not only by others, but by myself. I also don't have the feeling of an elephant standing on my chest anymore. Didn't think that was possible. Here you go. Just showing up is showing up with what you've got. So let me just lay down the law for you, or just lay down what I did in the beginning of radical change in my life and a radical mind shift change because I was always a victim. Like I literally had the most intense victim mindset. No one ever said that. No one ever thought that. People thought I was always joyful and happy. And there was a whole storm brewing in me 24/7. I was on like antidepressants in high school and stuff like that. It didn't work for me. I was on a very short period of time. And I was like, I'm gonna, if I don't get off of this right now. So I did. Sorry, let me take a little sip with you. By the way, what's your favorite drink? Because this is mine. It's the PC Blue Menu pineapple coconut sparkling water. So it's like a pina colada, but no sugar. And it's just so refreshing. I don't know. Even when it's warm, it feels cold. I can't explain that. It's just really good. But, anyways, okay. Back to our discussion. So, during COVID, I was involved in a car accident. Mind you, I'm not a driver. I'm actually afraid of driving. However, I'm now in driving school for people who are anxious about driving. And during COVID, there was a car accident. I was a passenger princess, and let's just say, like, a couple inches off, and my boyfriend could have lost his legs, potentially his life. So, at the time, now he's my fiance. But, anyways, that was a horrible experience, but it afforded me physiotherapy to, heal, and then therapy for my mental health. And my therapist essentially said, if you don't want to live or continue being here, if life is exactly how it is a year from now, then what do you have to lose? Something's got to give. You said, like, you've laid it out, Crystal. So what I did next was crucial, and it was listen to what he said. He said, you need to start a cleaning business now. It doesn't have to be for forever. You could do school, you could do this, you could do that, you could do that, you could do another business, but you need to start it right now. So I listened to him. I ran my little booty cheeks off to Dollarama, and I just purchased whatever I thought would be necessary, like a very basic list. Um, and I also, before I left the house, I made sure that I didn't need any like licensing or anything in order to do housekeeping in Toronto. I didn't. I added the app called TaskRabbit, and I started on there, and I also started on Kijiji. At the time, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you join TaskRabbit, I think it's very oversaturated. So like you could pay the background check, you get into it, and they might not accept you, and like you might not be able to go because it's so overflooded with so many workers. But I'll leave that there. Anyways, so I did that. I was also on Kijiji. I was like, I don't know. I went from like barely doing anything to having a completely flooded schedule, feeling useful, getting 5-star reviews, making immediately like triple the money that I was making um when I was doing retail. And I was like, wait, like I'm not useless. Like I'm sorry, I've always felt that way my whole life. Like I just felt useless. Like I was just meant to like kind of like not useless actually, I guess. I was useful to be, I was a tool for people, but I didn't feel valuable, or I didn't feel valued in my life. And like that was the first time I ever felt valued. And then I started working crazy hours. Sometimes I'd work like 8 a.m. to 3, 4 a.m. the next day, which is crazy, with clients I really trusted. And it brought in like extra late fees and stuff like that, which was really helpful in paying off the debt really quickly. I was not playing around, and I knew it was for a season. Like once I saw the bank account, like the number going down for my debt, and like I was actually excited to look at my bank account. I was like, wait, things can change. And then just as quickly as it was going down, it was building up in my savings after I paid everything off. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. It was life changing. I met so many people. I got invited to a funeral of one of my dear clients who I love, and that in itself was just so moving and touching. I've been like given really special cards from clients, or just thanks. I've like teared up and cried together with clients, because I clean a lot of like people with physical health issues, mental health, all of it. I'm never judging. I do a lot of cleans where it's like people with mental health struggles. I understand them. Like I'm not there to judge, you know what I mean? So I couldn't even imagine any of the things that have happened. And then I cannot remember if I mentioned this already, but this year, just this past week, I had my first ever over $1,000 day from one single client. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh my goodness, the possibilities are endless. And I feel like had the total opposite perspective on everything on life just a few years ago. I just didn't think like someone like me could ever make that kind of money, do something and actually love it. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying I love it all the time. I'm not saying I don't get exhausted and tired. I'm not saying I don't ever want to rip my hair out. I'm not saying I don't ever get scared or anxious. That's not what I'm saying. But I actually love and enjoy what I do. I have respect for what I do. And I want to create more job opportunities for people. And I'm just like, wait, like this is possible. The feeling of possibility, the feeling of hope that's come through me is just absolutely incredible. And as things go up, I'm able to save even quicker, which has been great because I'm like, wait, I can afford to buy a home. Like, not right this second. It wouldn't be wise. I could, but it would not be wise. And I'd be struggling and I'd be house poor. But I can afford to buy a home soon, which is something I never thought be possible for me. Like, I grew up when I was a little kiddo, I was in like shelters for abused women. I was highly anxious. I never fit in. I was always made to feel like an outcast, black sheep, and a loser, and stupid and dumb, and a million other horrible things. And it's like, I don't feel any of those things anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I feel so far removed from where I was before. And I just never, as I said, I never believed that would be possible for someone like me. And it's crazy when I speak to someone and I'm like, and they come across as positive, but then the mask or the facade comes off and they open up to me. And I just see hope. I see hope. I see a chance for change, and they might not even know it yet. And how do I know that? Because I didn't know it. I had people speak life into me that could see through it all. There were so many people that were actually annoyed by my happiness. And it's funny because when I was my happiness to others, I was my most depressed. I was my most discontent. I was my most removed. I didn't feel like I was on the earth. I felt like a ghost just floating through life. And I feel so present now. And I just want to share that. And that's really what this page is going to be about. I want to share my travels because I do plan on doing another solo trip. I'm looking above at my board and I have Italy, Zanzibar, and Spain. Hopefully, I pronounced Zanzibar right. But never been to any of them. I don't like, it just feels like I can just do anything. And you just got to understand how incredible that feels because I never thought I could do anything. I didn't think I'd be much more than a vessel to help others find happiness, joy, or I don't know, just be like a soother for other humans, which sounds so weird, but that's like how I grew up. And also, people always just felt comfortable venting to me, but like no one ever wanted me around. I didn't feel wanted. And I feel wanted now by myself and also by those that I love and those that love me. But it gets better. It genuinely gets better. And it's like, oh, but where do I start? Where do I start? I'm going to make this so simple for you. You already know what to do. I hate to say it. And I'm not saying that if you have like seriously depression and everything, you have to get treatment. It's not gonna get better on its own magically. Everything's gonna become better. Blah, 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 blah. No. But is it gonna be horrible forever? No. Is it gonna be really hard and take many, many years and time and effort? Yes. But it's so freaking worth it. I wish I could just like inject like the feeling of what I feel now, just like a small dosage, just so you would know, like, oh wait, like no, 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 I'm gonna keep going because like it's so worth it. Like I'm gonna feel better. This is just temporary. The pain I'm feeling right now is temporary because I understand. Like I, even to this day, I sometimes get frozen, and like the best way to explain frozen is to show it to you. It's very rare, but I still have days sometimes where I'm just like, I literally cannot move and I struggle. You know, it's very, very, very rare. It's very, 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 very rare. Very rare. But it still happens to me. And it used to happen a lot more often, you know, like weeks at a time, like extreme depression. I would still get everything done. Like everything would get done except for like happiness, joy, or like fresh air. Like just like the like paying my rent, making sure I had enough money to pay the bills. Not really, because I started using my credit card, but not for the bills and everything. Like for that, I had to pay the cash. So, my love, there's hope. There is hope, and I know there's so much like out there that's negative, where it's like you need to do this or you're going to be a failure. And I noticed that I was becoming highly susceptible to that kind of content and stuff, and just like that outpour, because I noticed it that I feel like the content like outpoured into my community, and that just had like a negative effect on things and people. Like I could see hope dying, kind of. But I just removed myself from the situation. I was like, okay, I'm not gaining anything from social media. I'm barely creating. I'm mainly consuming at a really high and insane rate. Like at this point, I could have two full-time jobs. I don't feel good after I watch it, and sometimes I get lost in the sauce. Like I'll be like watching, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've been here for 3, 4 hours. I'm not kidding you. Of course, that's on my days off. Like when I work, I work. You know what I mean? But I was like, this is disturbing. And also, I feel terrible. And I always felt like really the best way to put it is overstimulated by the end of the day. Like I was so snappy and irritated and irritable. I don't feel that anymore at all. So that's not normal, by the way, just in case you were wondering. But um, yeah, I just want to share all this just to say like this video is imperfect. I'm not going to edit anything. This is me. This is, you know, part of my sleep kind of thing. It gets better, but you have to make the situation better. You have to make your environment conducive to you winning. And that's not going to happen overnight, and it doesn't need to. Nothing needs to happen overnight. You don't need to fix it all by the end of the day. And if you don't, you're a failure. You don't need to, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't need to lose it all in 5 seconds. You don't need to. You're beautiful right now. You're doing it because you want continuous change. Maybe you're doing it because it's going to make you feel hot or this, that, or you don't feel that way right now. That's okay. I love your honesty. I love it. I've been there, you know. That's another thing that I want to mention with housekeeping is like there were so many benefits for me, and one of them was health. I was dealing with really bad like depression, especially after COVID. And starting this up, I lost a lot of weight. I will say I gained a lot of weight with COVID because I wasn't able to work as much, and like being very physically active is very important for me. Also, my gym was closed, and it was such a weird time. Like there was just like a lot of weird stuff going on in my neighborhood, and it was like, don't go outside. If you go outside, you hate everyone. You want everyone dead. It was very dramatic, like in the sense like my neighborhood has like a lot of open space, extremely open space, like nature and everything. And I was like, no one was allowed to enjoy it. I think at one point it became illegal, but that's a whole other thing. Um, take care of yourself. Sit with yourself. I think that's the most important thing we forget as well. Just show up and take care of yourself. Listen to yourself. You know, when was the last time you were in silence? And I think for me, I love silence, but I also love a good, like, Alexa, she's listening now, play rain sounds or play, sorry. Rain sounds and similar songs on Amazon Music. I don't know how she heard that because I whispered it so quietly. But, anyways, something like that. And like just laying in my bed, maybe you fall asleep. Maybe you do it before bed and you fall asleep thinking about these things. But I also think having a paper, a pen by bed is so helpful. Anyways, I'm going to show you my room just because I want to show you. I don't know if it just didn't do everything, but I'm going to quickly say what I said again because it kind of paused everything. Have a pen and paper by bed. Before bed, maybe put on some sound, something relaxing. Anyways, this is me just showing up. Tristal, I'm 28. It's 2025, about 2026. I'm a housekeeper in Toronto. And I don't always have it together. We got presents, we got the bed in disorder, some things I'm selling. It looks like a total mess. It's disgusting. It actually is disgusting, but this is not me, and I'm gonna clean it right now. It was a really busy week, and it might, like I said, the biggest day in my business. I love you. Bye. See you next video.